Hey guys, I'm Eric and I'm going solo on this episode of Retro Gaming Nerds. On this episode, we're playing a great arcade classic from Centuri Inc. that was released by Atari on the Atari 2600. It was a Galaga ripoff, but it was great nonetheless. It is the classic Phoenix. Alright guys, so as you can see right here on the TV behind me, playing on the Atari 7800 is the 2600 game Phoenix. Now keep in mind, this game is a Galaga ripoff, or clone, or copy, or whatever you want to call it, that was released back in the early 80s by Centuri Inc. Now the premise of the game is an alien crash landed on Earth and its fallout ended up in the nest of an ancient phoenix. The eggs became radiated and mutated into these evil beasts that were now swooping across the world, killing and destroying. And your job in your new vehicle was to destroy the remnants of these phoenix. However, the problem was they continue to regenerate from the ashes of the old, and you're just on a perpetual mission of inevitability. It's a fun game. It's an arcade classic. Many people haven't heard of it. It did get a sequel, but most people never played it. And I just fell in love with this game. And I really hope you guys enjoy today's play-along video, or let's play video, or whatever you kids call them these days, because we're going to play Phoenix from the Atari 2600. Alright guys, so here we go. Now, as you see, they have formations and they will drop their lasers upon you. My brother and I, as a kid, used to joke that it was bird poop and they were pooping on you. And what's great is this is not just like in Galaxian and such on the Atari 2600. There are multiple ways with various levels of difficulty amongst the villains. In this case, now you're dealing with fully fledged Phoenix birds, but what's interesting is you shoot their wings, they can still fly. You have to get a direct shot on the body. And every version of them goes from blue to these red ones. The red ones are just a bit more powerful. Now I have to admit, trying to explain the game while playing is a little more challenging than just playing it like normal, but I want you guys to understand what's going on here. So it is still firing. They swoop up and down. They try to get you. My aim is horrible right now. Oh, and I got destroyed. Now I'm not going to keep playing and playing and playing, because honestly there are times when I've racked up a huge score on this. Oh, and look at that. There is the ability to create shields in the for your ship. Now that is a wonderful thing, because on this boss alien, and yes, it's an Atari 2600 game with a boss. I am getting him situated, and I'm going to come over here and blow myself up, and there we go. Now yeah, it's a little crappy right there when you think about the fact that it lines you up perfect for a shot. Now in the arcade version, not only are you destroying the mothership, but it's also surrounded by these Phoenix of various sizes and shapes and power to defend it. So it's not just a quick and easy destruction of the alien ship. Now one of these days, through MAME emulation, we do intend to show you versions of these great games in their original arcade format, but right now, I'll just explain what was going on. And as you saw, I did not get my shield off in time, and one of them swooped down and committed Harry and died, killing me. And yes, they will kamikaze you because, well, it's an Atari game, and best way to kill anything is, kamikaze if you're the bad guy. Because, well, you're an endless swarm of evil. Who cares if you die? Another little thing is when it's swooping down to kill you like that is if you get yourself lined up and it happens to come down at the right moment, you activate your shield and it will hit your shield and vaporize. There we go, finally. Now let's kill this bugger. Now what I do is I try to create a tunnel like that right there in the middle, and then I'll swoop off to one side or another where I don't generally get shot at, and try to create an opening and get in there. But yeah, I screwed that up. There we go. See that? That's how it's done, people. Yeah, yeah. I won't do that ever again. I'm sorry. So I continue playing, and it does get a little more difficult where the Phoenix will start getting a little faster. They drop more shots and continue on. Now, what I really love about this game is, keep in mind, again, I'm playing on the 2600 or the 7800, a 2600 game. This is not emulation. As you can see, I'm using an Atari joystick, and there's the system. You saw me hit the reset button earlier. The 7800 does not do anything really for the flicker in the old 2600 games. And here is the really cool thing. The way this game was programmed was that all the baddies are essentially floating on their own plane, and you see very little flicker. The only time you see flicker, again, is like right there where the Phoenix came down into my plane, but the flicker is so fast and so minute and almost unnoticeable that it doesn't affect gameplay at all. And I just got destroyed right there. But I got my little path. I'll switch over here. I'll start blasting. Oh, and the shield now shoots you from the sides as you progress long enough, because the game understands that, you know, there is strategy involved with these old games. And I just died on my last life. Not bad for 18,540 while talking. It's not easy, let me tell you. Alright guys, so you just saw me playing solo with nobody to compete with on Phoenix for the Atari 2600, played on the Atari 7800, originally released in arcades by Centuri Inc. The game, yes, like I said earlier, is a bit of a Galaxian slash Space Invaders slash Galaga clone, ripoff, whatever. To be more accurate, more of a Space Invaders clone, because considering the fact that Galaxian is a Space Invaders ripoff. So anyway, the game is fun, and it has a certain amount of strategy involved with, you see in a lot of these old arcade games, that, you know, you have to pinpoint your fire, you have to be accurate in order to get a good shot and kill the bad guy, unlike most games where, oh, you got enough of them in the arm, they're dead. It's good enough. Cool, we're fine with that. You know, because, you know, many games today suck. So the graphics in the game are okay. The little guys, sure, they look like birds, baby birds, sure. The big birds don't, they're weird. I will admit, they're weird looking. It's just the way the game is. You have to accept it. It's Atari 2600, folks. The fact that there was fluid animation, they bounced all over the place, they had a strategy, they bombed the crap out of you. No pun intended to what I said earlier. The graphics were decent. And the Mothership at the end, an actual boss fight on the Atari 2600 video game. Not common in those days. I mean, boss fights didn't actually start happening until the arcade games became a little more evolved, in the NES, and the more modernized 8-bit games of the mid-80s started popping up, and we saw those kind of things. So having a boss battle in this was great. A lot of fun. The sound effects are a little annoying. The blasters are typical. The woo-doo-woo-doo-woo-doo sound is, I got yelled at many a time as a child when I played this with my brother, by our parents, and it just, the best you can do is just turn it down. Seriously. Now, again, I explained the story at the beginning of the game, and you saw the remnants, you know, the spaceship is tied to that, and it's really great because old games like that, you don't really have much of a story happening during gameplay. It's all in the instructions. It's at the intro of those booklets that you create this mental imagery with the incredible artwork that's found on it. Please go look for these old retro games, their artwork, and admire them. It's amazing. But the controls, I'll tell you what, they're spot on. Seriously. There is no delay. There is no reaction time issues. It's great controls. You want to go left, you go left. You want to go right, you go right. You fire, you fire. It's just how it is. There is no, okay, we'll go this way. Okay, we'll go that way. No, it's, oh, we're going this way. Oh, we're going that way. And it makes for a great game. It's a twitch game. That's what it is. It's a game where you have to be fast. You have to have the reflexes. You have to keep going. And like I've said, I've played this game without talking and have gone to the point of boredom and turning off the game and just walking away, because you only care about a high score after so long, especially if you're just doing it for yourself. Anyway, guys, great game. Highly recommend. It's not hard to find. It is fairly common out there in the wild. Definitely on eBay. Get the game. It's not that hard to find. It's not expensive, and it's a lot of fun. It is probably the best shmup on the Atari 2600. Definitely in my top 5 for sure. So, all right. Well, guys, keep in mind, we are constantly playing classic games on this show, where we're also bringing in guests. Now, like I said, my kids will be back. They will be involved, and they will have fun with us. Expect my son to do a solo episode where he's going to play Dark Chambers, which is the Gauntlet clone that appeared on the Atari 2600, and the 7800. And by the way, we'll be playing the 7800 version because it's so much prettier. And I got a little bit of trivia for you that you might be surprised about on that game. And of course, you're probably going to Google it, and this way you know what it is by the time we air. Anyways, guys, we're playing more games on classic consoles. I'm Eric, and this was Retro Gaming Nerds.